In this section, we'll look at how Rapid SQL XE can boost your productivity. We'll take an overview of the productivity enhancers found in Rapid SQL XE. We'll look at creating objects using the Object Creation Wizard, edit an existing object using the Object Editor, how to create reports, an overview of our scripting features found in Rapid SQL XE, and finally, how to work with the scripts and files in our rich SQL editor. In this section, we'll use multiple DBMS connections to show Rapid SQL XE's productivity enhancers. The first productivity enhancer I'd like to show out of the box is our bookmark feature. We've covered this in prior sections when we talked about the options for Rapid SQL XE. But just to point out, as we select and create bookmarks, we have our Bookmark Manager that can walk us through and allow us to rename or delete bookmarks and reposition them or filter them to isolate the ones that we're interested in working with. I'm going to press OK. So that's our backbone of one of our productivity enhancers is the bookmark feature, allowing you to go directly to the object that you need to work with. We have some other ones around the tools, the ability to find in files and the database search, as well as the visual difference features to give us that ability to go in there and quickly pinpoint the differences and within files or database objects. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to walk through creating objects using the Object Creation Wizard, and for this I would like to point to our Oracle data source, and I don't have a bookmark for that yet, so I'll go ahead and show how we can create that bookmark. So we'll connect, and though I didn't right click in the context menu and press connect, I just expanded the node and that prompted me to connect. So we're connected now. So one of the other productivity enhancers we have is our ability to organize by object type or object owner, show system objects, show only my objects. So in this situation I want to organize by object type. By object owner. So let's go ahead and expand the schema node. And here we have our GIM schema. So right away I want to set a bookmark. So let's go ahead, and it's the GIM schema on this data source, and press OK. Let's bring this to collapse that node, and let's go to our bookmarks now. Bookmark the GIM schema. So it takes us right there. So let's go ahead and create a new table, and we'll walk you through the table editor, the creation wizard. So right click, create. We're prompted with the wizard, step 1. So let's go ahead and select our schema. We'll go our GIM schema. We'll use a simple name, demo table 1. We have some options with regard to the tables, the cache, the row movement, the parallel degree, and the percent free, as well as some physical attributes, the row organization, the logging, and table compression. So we've got our table. Let's go ahead and press next. Here's where we add our column names, and I can drag this out a little bit to give us a little bit more room. So let's go ahead and add this first column. Our identity column, and we're going to make that an integer, a default value, leave that alone. And our comment, let's add a comment. So we have that. So let's go ahead and add another column. So this will be our first name field, and we're going to place this as a varchar. Scroll down. This is showing all of the available data types for this platform, as well as specific to the version of the platform, and is also including any user-defined data types that might be available. Varchar 2, so we'll put the size of 25. We'll go ahead and remove the comment. We'll add another column, which will be last name. And this will be a varchar. We'll make this 50. We're stepping through now. Let's go and press next. So those are our columns. If I want to go back and look at those, I simply press the back button. Let's go to the next. Will be our indexes. Would we like to add an index? We would. So it's going to be the index is going to be the pre-K primary key index. It's going to be unique. We'll press next. We'll ask us what column. We're going to select the identity column. It brings over the values we need. Then we have our storage and partition and Ddl View finally. So we'll leave the defaults here. Press next. And here's our Ddl View to create the index. So we'll go ahead and press add there. Press next. Now we're back to the table wizard, the creation wizard. So any constraints we may have, storage options, we'll leave these as defaults as well. We can partition this if we'd like, a comment, the demo table, any permissions we'd like to grant to this table, and then finally the Ddl view. So here we preview everything we do within RapidSQL XE. We preview before we actually run the script. So we give you a chance to look at it and review what we're going to do. So here we're going to create the table. We look at the parameters. We bring over the comments. We create the unique index. So at this point we can execute. We can also go up here and look at these options. We can save this off. We can print it. We can email, or we can take this out into a SQL window. And lastly, we could schedule this using the Windows Task Scheduler. So let's go ahead and execute this. So upon completion of the creation wizard, we are presented with the table editor. So here we can go through and see the values of the different areas. So let's go ahead. This example is for Oracle. We'll close out of here and take a look at what that same object editor looks like when DB2. So we will look there. I have a bookmark set up. So our bookmark brought us right down to our broker table within our GIM schema on our DB2 version 9.7 database. So here we can select, right click, and open. And you'll quickly see the similarities between the two object editors. Go ahead and maximize this. Open it up a little bit. So we can see as we step through, we see a lot that the look and feel is identical. The Properties tab, we can look across and get information specific to DB2. Regardless if we're looking at an Oracle data source, a DB2, as we are here, Sybase, SQL Server, MySQL, you're still going to be presented with the same look and feel, the same concept of the tabs across the top, and the information pertinent to that platform. So as we continue to scroll, you'll see some information that may not be applicable to other platforms. We're handling that for you behind the scenes. You don't need to worry. So if I step back to columns, I do want to point this out. And this is RapidSQL and its sister product DB Artisan XE, one of the few products in the industry that will do this for you. So for instance, years with the firm. If I like to move this column up, I can simply select it, press the up arrow. Now if you've ever tried to do this manually, you can appreciate what RapidSQL XE is going to do for you behind the scenes. So at this point we're ready. We're going to go ahead and press Alter. So RapidSQL now presents us with a preview pane for the alter statement that we are going to execute. So here if we expand this, we can see all the work that RapidSQL XE has done behind the scenes. So we have dropped any constraint, dropped the view, we're altering the table, we're going to rename the original table to a backup name, create the new table, placing the years with firm in the order that we'd like it, come back, alter the table, put back all of the constraints and any indexes, then we're going to go ahead and insert the information back, the data back, insert into the new table from the backup table, again putting those constraints back, finally creating the index and creating any views that were dropped originally. So RapidSQL behind the scenes took care of all that work for you. You did not have to worry about it. So at this point, if we're happy with what we have here, as with all of our wizards, all of our object editors in the preview pane, we can go ahead and execute this. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this, so we'll move on to another section of the lesson. But again, this is the same look and feel across the platforms. At a very high level, we have drop downs here for schema and table. So if you're working on a specific table, there is no need to go back to the Explorer. We can drop this down, see our list of tables, and be up and running, working on the table that we need to work with. Let's go close here. We do not want to save. Let's hop back to our Explorer. Let's go to our bookmarks. Let's go to Sybase this time. Our Sybase 15 data source. So we'll go into our GIM table. I'd like to show you some of our features we have surrounding reports. So let's dive in and we'll go ahead and do some reports. So as with Other usability and productivity enhancers. Rapid SQL XC allows multi-select in our Explorer. So as I'm selecting through here, you can see that I've multi-selected many objects. So here, when I right-click from the context menu, I get options that I can perform on multiple objects. So here, if I like to delete the stats, I can highlight as many as I like to and delete that. If I'd like to do select star from, I can do that as well. I can update statistics. But in this example, we like to generate some reports. So let's go ahead and press Report. Here we have our options to where we're going to place it. We can append the date and timestamp to the report file name, save a report into date-specific folders. I'm going to go ahead and give this report a title. So we have single HTML file for all objects or separate HTML files for all objects. I'm going to select the first. Go ahead and press Execute. Rapid SQL has generated the report. Let's go ahead and toggle that off to let us see exactly what we're seeing here. So here on the left-hand pane is our legend, and as we click there, we're taken to the section in the report. We can see all the information, all the columns. Now we're looking at the dependencies. We can actually see the DDL. So here I can select the transaction table. It takes me right to that section in the report. We have our trade date. We can look at any dependencies that might be there, and then look at the information, the DDL for that object. So I chose tables as an example. We can report on any of the objects that are listed in the Explorer. So let's pin this back. So one of the options that you may have seen when I was in the context menu of the tables is our generate command. So here I'm going to talk a little bit about the scripting features found in Rapid SQL XC. So out of the gate, we can get a head start on scripting procedures or just statements. Let's take a look at the procedures. We want to do a select procedure based on the broker table. So right-click, generate procedure, select. We're going to be prompted to select the input columns. We're going to go ahead and select just the broker ID and then the output column. So we're just really interested in first, last, and middle, and email address. Let's go ahead and press OK. And here we're presented with the framework of our select procedure. Everything created just through a wizard driven, a few steps, a few selections of some columns, and we're giving the syntax that will provide us a framework to create this fully featured stored procedure. Again, this is just a framework. We recognize that you're going to want to put in some error checking, some error handling, maybe some other features, some other programs around this set of base data. But again, we get you started. Stepping back again, I'll go to another table, right-click, generate. We can do statements as well. Select, insert, update, delete. Let's go ahead and insert statements. Select one or more columns. Let's go ahead and we have the ability here to select all or select none. Let's go ahead and select ID, first name, last name. So let's just go ahead and we can see here nullability is no, so we know we're going to have to select these columns at a minimum. Press OK. And here's our statement, prompted with commented out sections of the values of the variables we need to place and the data type. For instance, the client ID, Rapid SQL is prompting us, letting us know that it's a numeric 18, so we can have a good idea of how we need to format the data in order for this insert statement to be successful. Now those are just a couple examples. Let's go ahead now and open up a new iSQL window. And for this example, let's connect to our SQL Server 2005 database. And we're in our GIM schema. So here we talked a little bit about the code workbench before. So let's go ahead and press Control Space, and we're going to go ahead and pull down our comment header. As you see, I can go ahead and get this in really quick. So down here now, if we wanted to, we could go to edit command, and here is where I want to point out that you can do a lot of things. When you're in the iSQL window, the edit menu is your friend. So we can undo and redo all the things that you would expect from an editor. But I want to mention this, the paste SQL syntax. If we're interested in doing any kind of queries against the database, we have our paste SQL statement. So we can dive in here, we can look at any sum. So if we're interested in how do we figure out the average, we can paste this in. So we can quickly start typing and have the ability to do a paste SQL syntax. We also have the ability to paste SQL statements. So at a very high level, we can select a broker, we can select the columns that we like, the select statement, and we can paste the statement right in. So another easy, quick way to bring that in. We also have, and you saw it I think, the ability to insert a file. So if you'd like to insert a file anywhere within our iSQL window, we can simply place the cursor where we like it, edit, insert file. We can indent and outdent, but let's go ahead and we'll just start typing. So again, I'm going to utilize my code, my auto replace, to do a select star from. I want to type the database name, and then my auto prompt is on, so it prompted me immediately with my owners. I'm going to use my mouse, double click DBO, hit the period, so it prompts me with the table names or the views. So we'll take the broker and we'll alias that where, and you can see there that I meant to type where, but I typed there. So our parser now has detected that. So if we highlight over there, it tells us you've encountered the token there, unexpected token there. So that prompts me that on the fly that I need to correct that. So I did. So T1, when I hit period, it prompts me with the column names. Let's do greater than 1 and T1 period. Middle initial is not null. So as you see, I continue to type. Rapid SQL XE drops down the column names. Minimal typing, and when I do fat finger a word, Rapid SQL XE's parser catches it for me. So at this point, we can go ahead and run this. Press the execute button, and there's our list. Come back to the query, and we're back up and running. With additional work, we can go ahead and do a select. Let's do a select count. Let's try this. Let's go ahead and do a select. We'll do a paste SQL syntax, and we talked about the average. We'll bring that in. So we want to take a look at the average of the years with firm. So it's going to be dbo.broker.years with firm from gim.dbo.broker. So here we go, we're ready to go. In order, another feature with Rapid SQL's editor, I can highlight the exact SQL that I'd like to run and press execute. It's only going to run what I have selected. Press that, and there we go. We get our results set. The average is 5.91 years with a firm. So again, within Rapid SQL XE, you can utilize some of our scripting features to boost your productivity, get you more focused on the query, getting the data back, and less worried on the syntax and the exact naming and the exact spelling of column names. We know with the complexity and the databases growing and new databases being brought into your organization, the challenge is there more than ever before to bring yourself up to speed. So with Rapid SQL XE, we can get you there quicker by letting you lean on the tool. So that's an overview of our SQL window. Again, if we look here, we can do a find, the repeat find, the replace go to. We have bookmark, the concept of bookmarks within a SQL file. So if you have a very large SQL file, for instance, let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to clear that out. And if we're interested in working with stored procedures. Let's go into that. I have a stored procedure up on another machine. And here it is. Let's go ahead and right click and extract. I haven't spoken about this feature much, but it's a really powerful feature to be able to extract the DDL from the database into an iSQL window so you can work with it. So from here, we can go ahead and start working. If we have a situation that we'd like to toggle a breakpoint, a bookmark below, further down, we can go ahead and toggle bookmark. So there is our first bookmark. So if we are back up here and we need to go to the next bookmark, simply select next bookmark. It takes us right to the line and we can start working. So again, at any time I can highlight the section. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and undo that. And I know what I want to do here, so I highlight the line, edit, comment out. So it's taking care of that for me, and when I'm ready to go, I can simply press execute, and this will run the entire script, replacing the existing object, the stored procedure in the database, with the new stored procedure that I've just created here, as well as I would save it off and possibly even work with RapidSQL XE's project facility to put this into a project, and that's covered in another lesson. So again, a lot of productivity enhancements in RapidSQL XE, specifically around the improvements made to the iSQL editor. A lot of functionality there to bring coding up to the speed, bring you up to speed with coding no matter what platform you're working on.